Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate. It does it with Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this program. Barb, one of the biggest challenges for home sellers is that classic real estate catch 22, having a house to sell before buying their next home. So, Barb, how do homeowners that need to sell their house to buy the next house have any certainty that their house, in fact, is going to sell when they want it to so they can move into a new home?
Well, Richard, I just closed one last week where that person had to sell his home, so he picked the best cash offer that he could get. And what was interesting is that when I talked to the agents in the state that he was buying, they didn't even know he had a house to sell. So you never know what kind of communication took place. I wasn't a part of that deal, so it's okay. But we had a firm deal with cash, and it worked out exactly as planned. And that gave the seller certainty. He did not want to do remodeling. He wanted to get a majority of his proceeds out, be able to buy his next home, and just move on. So I do this probably every month for a handful of sellers, because there are people that just don't want to deal with it. And that's what he said to me. I know the house needs a remodeling. I don't want to remodel it. I don't want to clear out the junk left behind. So I take care of everything for him, which is fine. I'm grateful to do it, because ultimately what their cash buyer is going to do is remodel that home, and then I'll be able to put it back on the market in a much prettier version, and he gets to reap the benefits of the resale. So if you are a seller looking to sell your home as is to a cash buyer, uh, I don't really recommend looking on the internet, because your phone will blow up with all these people trying to steal as much equity as they can, right? And they're gonna criticize your house, and they probably won't have a really good insight into what the home could be worth when it's remodeled. And they're gonna try to get you. Don't trust them, is what I'm trying to say. And I'm fiercely loyal until you do something that causes me not to trust you. And I was talking to this about our cash offer, the client that I have, or the colleague that I have, that basically has this platform where we have access to not just one cash buyer, but multiple cash buyers, and some of which are not necessarily going to rehab. Some are going to keep it and rent it out, right? So there's different kinds of investors, and we can put any address in the country in there and get multiple cash offers for that home. So it's really cool. It's a great tool that I've been able to use, that he created. And these people are trustworthy. That's the biggest thing, because I actually have tried almost all of them. And the ones that don't come back, like if they do a bait and switch where they say, oh, I'll pay this much, and then they walk back their price substantially, I'm not going back to them, because I don't want my clients to be disappointed. I want them to, whatever I show them is generally going to be about what happens at the finish line. So people that have a house to sell, generally there are options. Like, you can just sell it and get into a temporary housing situation. Some people do that. You can, get a home equity line of credit. But the difficulty in doing that is you might be able to pull your equity out. However, now you're on the hook for payments on that, and it may derail your qualification to buy your next home. So it really is a problem. And most home sellers don't like the idea of a house to sell unless it's already under contract. They don't want to play. So if you need the net proceeds, we've got lots of options. We've got investors that will come in and actually give you as much as 75% of your equity after your loan is paid off. So you can buy your next home first if you want to do that. But we also have cash sellers that'll just cash you out. So recently I had somebody that opted for that because he didn't want to deal with strangers coming through his house. He's got a big household, dogs, lots of stuff. And because he was financially pretty strong, he was able to buy his next home first. And then he sold it to an investor. They're going to remodel it and he'll get some of the proceeds after it resales. So you can always just sell the home, make it happen. But if you present an offer contingent on your home selling, it's a lot of risk for that home seller to take an offer like that. So most people I find typically will not make a move until they have everything lined up and ready to go at the destination. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But I've had other people to say, we're going to buy this new house. We're going to go live in an apartment. And so just sell our home and then we'll wait for our house to be done. I've seen that happen too. But if you do a contingent offer, you open the door for a competing buyer to come in, right? So it really is the most risk for a buyer, because if you say, hey, I want to buy your house, but will you reserve that house for me, waiting for me to sell my home that's on the market that's not sold? Okay. It's just in this market, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. There's a lot of pressure. You have to come in with a much stronger offer. It takes away your ability to negotiate. And there's a pretty low probability of acceptance on that offer as well. So we've got our special financing programs. We also have in-house local investors that sometimes will pay more than my corporate investors. And we've done that before too. This year, I think we probably sold a handful of homes that never went on the market, and our investors came in and made a good offer. Sellers were happy, buyers were happy, and it was all done. So we're going to tap into all of our resources to try to get you what you want at the time that you want. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about how do you sell a house to a cash offer and be able to move at your convenience when you want to. And when we come back, we're going to touch on some other things like kind of how does that really work? When do you get paid? How quickly do you get paid? And what are the costs of those kind of sales? My name is Barb Schlinker. If you're thinking of making a move and you want to get a cash offer on your home, we typically show up at every appointment with multiple cash offers, and you have options. You can either take a cash offer or you can put it on the market and try to get more on the open market. So just give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Her number, 719-301-3900. And we're talking with Barb about how sellers can trade up to a new home. So, Barb, what are some other things that a seller can do if they need to sell a house before they buy the next one?
Well, we have great cash offer investors that can purchase your home. We've sold some of our homes to local investors. Our cash offer investors sometimes will come in and actually pay full market value minus their fees. And so there's all kinds of different ways of selling it. It's not necessarily always going to be an investor offer that's going to steal more than half your equity. That's not always the case. And we can use this in reverse. So let's say you have your house on the market and a buyer comes to you and says, I want to buy your house, but I have a house to sell. Will you reserve the house for me? So what we can do is we can actually take that address and put it up on our cash offer platform and get that buyer multiple offers on their house so they can buy your home without a sale contingency. Now, I do run into some issues because it's very much out of the box thinking. So some home selling agents just don't like anything different. They just don't. So sometimes they will put up the barrier to say, no, I don't think I want to do that. I sold a home last year where they came to me and made a contingent offer. And so I said, what's the address? I put the address in my system. I got multiple cash offers on the home. And I said, well, you want to buy this home contingent on your house selling. So will you let me present these offers to your client so we can sell that home and you don't have to wait for a contingency? And I was really surprised at her answer. She goes, no, we're not, we're just going to, do the traditional way. So she didn't, I mean, think about it. I was finding her a way where she could get paid twice, right? And she could get to the finish line. But instead, oh no, that's different. I can't do different. No. And she was, the thing that bothered me the most is she was making the decision for her client without even asking them. I see that happen an awful lot where they think, oh, I can negotiate this, right? But how do they know the seller won't take that offer? They don't know, right? So what happened is that deal ended up blowing up because they did a contingent sale. Seller accepted contingency, which is really surprising. And they did an inspection. It blew up over inspection, but they still wanted back in the contract again. But when I looked at their house on the market, it was way, way, way overpriced. I'm like, this thing is at least 120,000 overpriced. There's no way it's going to sell on the open market. I told the sellers I would not tie up my home for an overpriced listing because there's just no way that it's going to sell. And then you're going to be in a situation where because here's another National Association of Realtors rule is if the home goes under contract with a sale contingency, we have to annotate the listing services to indicate they've accepted a contract. Here's the problem. It's not a contract that can buy yet. We don't know when they can buy, but the way it translates onto all the tech companies, Zillow, Realtor.com, and Homes.com, it tells them it's under contract and creates demand destruction, right? So it's like really, really a disservice to the seller to do that. I found ways around it now because the National Association of Realtors and the MLS systems just really don't think through what they are doing and how technology has really changed our world about what buyers are thinking. If buyers see a contract out there, guess what they're going to do? Oh, not available. I'm moving on, right? They're not even going to waste their gas money to go look at that home. So, but if they knew that, well, if they didn't have a house to sell, they could buy it, right? All they have to do is make an offer. They might go look at the house, but it's just not the way the system works. And I've tried. I'm not going to change the world the way the MLS works, but I've just found a way to work around it. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call. We help people with all these different situations, cash offers, house to sell situations, how to pull their equity out, how to get the most equity even when selling to a cash buyer. Just call us at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com and you'll get choices from us. You won't just get the one trick pony that is like all the rest of the agents. I'm going to post it on the market and hope and pray somebody else has a buyer that can buy this house. That's not us. We are really different. So call us 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
Barb, you and your team are the only company that I would recommend to people out there who are thinking of selling their homes and downsizing to a smaller home. They can get more information by calling you at 719-301-3900. You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. That number again, 719-301-3900 or barbhasthebuyers.com. A short break. When we come back, we'll be discussing how to pick the right realtor to sell your house, plus Barb's hot new listings. Don't miss that.